An die Reaction-Zuschauer. Es kann sein, dass ihr gerade hier eine circa 2 Stunden Reaction seht. Ihr habt draufgeklickt, ihr wisst, worauf ihr euch eingelassen habt. 2 Stunden PIKMIN ICEBERG Reaction. Der Eisberg ist auf Englisch. Falls das Ganze kein 2-Stunden-Video sein soll, sondern ungefähr eine Stunde, dann wisst ihr, dass das Ganze ein Zweiteiler ist. Das nächste Reaction-Video wird der nächste Teil zum PIKMIN ICEBERG. Also, Kanal abonnieren, um es nicht zu verpassen. Ich habe halt keine Ahnung, ob ich das in einem Teil oder in 2 hochladen werde, deswegen. Ihr werdet ja an der Zeit sehen, wie lange das Video geht. Wie gesagt, der PIKMIN ICEBERG, das Video geht 1,5 Stunden. Glocke aktivieren, sehr wichtig, damit ihr, falls es ein Zweiteiler ist, den zweiten Teil nicht verpasst. Ja, hier unten ist Epic Games. Ihr seht, hier ist Haufen Scheiße auf, das ist aber egal. Wir gehen rein. Ich hab den Tab gemutet. Ich bin sehr gut vorbereitet. Stimmschaltung für die Website aufheben. Ich finde es auch schön, dass Hey Pikmin das einzige Logo ist, was nicht scharf ist.
What? Oh, here you go.
Scheiße. Wurde nicht angeschaut, by the way. Ja, das ist für uns beiden hier eine Premiere. Und ich hab
Hello, and welcome to the PIKMIN ICEBERG collab video. We'll be talking about the lore, theories, and other fun and wacky things in the Pikmin franchise. Many members of the Pikmin community came together to help make this PIKMIN ICEBERG video possible. Here they go on screen right now.
Ich wollte gerade sagen. Lämsel. Noah Gold Games, ich merke schon. Pikmin Facts. Astrid!
Sit back, grab some Pikmin gummy snacks, and enjoy the video.
Pikmin Gummy Snacks habe ich nicht. Ich habe nur eine Flasche Wasser. Ach du Heiland. Sky.
Captain Olimar. Olimar is the protagonist of the Pikmin series. He is a Hookatation, which means he is from the planet Hookatate. He is a father of his 2 children and is a husband to his wife. He also has a dog named Bobby. Olimar works for Hookatate Freight and is the captain of the SS Dolphin and the Hookatate ship.
Darf ich mal sagen, er redet ziemlich schnell. Ich hab's nicht auf 1,5 oder sowas, er redet einfach so schnell.
He is also a well-known navigator of the stars and a renowned space freight captain, even before the events of Pikmin 1. In the first Pikmin game, he decides he has been overworking himself at his
Haben
job
wir
at
Untertitel? Wir haben Untertitel.
Hookatate Freight, and needs to go on a vacation. With no destination in mind, he lets his ship, the SS Dolphin, make its own way through space. He switches his ship to autopilot and gets up to make a cup of tea, when suddenly his ship malfunctions and hits a meteor. He wakes up to discover that he lost 30 parts of his ship. He also discovers that he only has 30 days left of remaining battery power in his life support systems, and without it he will die due to oxygen being present on the planet, which is an element that is extremely lethal to Hookatations. Luckily, he crashed right next to an onion, where he discovers red Pikmin. Olimar utilizes their abilities to recover a nearby ship part, the Dolphin's main engine.
Ja, also Pikmin 1. Jetzt fasst mir gerade Pikmin 1 zusammen, oder was?
During his time on the planet, he discovers yellow and blue Pikmin, and they helped Olimar get back 29 of his ship parts. After defeating the final boss of Pikmin 1, the Emperor Bulblax, he retrieved his final ship part, the secret safe. He also collected a shiny alien platter, which was
ist Pikmin
really
1 eigentlich ein kürzeres Spiel als die anderen Pikmin-Teile? Oder ist das ungefähr von der Länge her gleich? Weil es wirkt halt so kurz, so 30 Tage, 30 Teile, so.
As a gift for his kids back home. He waved the Pikmin goodbye and left to go back to Hookatate after his perilous vacation. Louis is a young employee of Hookatate Freight, introduced in Pikmin 2. He doesn't talk much, other than mumble a few words here and there. According to Louis' grandmother, she forced Louis to go outside and eat bugs and plants when he was a kid. He started working for Hookatate Freight only 3 months before the events of Pikmin 2. During his first mission, he lost a cargo of golden Pikmin carrots to a ravenous space bunny, which led to a terrible debt. The president had to take out a large loan from Happy Hookatate Savings and Loan to repay the debt caused by the loss of the cargo. However, Olimar was returning back to Hookatate after being stranded on a distant planet, and he landed at the Hookatate Freight offices. After touching down, the president explained the situation to Olimar. He says how they sold off the SS Dolphin in Olimar's absence to repay the loan. However, it still left them with 10,100 Pokos in debt. Olimar, shocked by the loss of the Dolphin, drops the souvenir for his kids, which rolls into Louis. It is then picked up by an old ship, and its appraisal gouge analyzes the souvenir and values it at 100 Pokos, leaving the total at 10,000 Pokos. After Olimar briefly tells the president that there are more treasures like that one on the planet, the president immediately orders Olimar and Louis to go back to the planet to recover more treasure to pay off Hocotate Freight's loan.
Ich hatte halt absolut keine Ahnung, weil ich habe halt Pikmin 1 und 2 leider nie gespielt selber.
Olimar and Louis leave Hocotate, and Olimar pilots the old Hocotate ship towards the planet, where he barely dodges a meteor before landing on the surface of the planet once again. President of Hocotate Freight. The president of Hocotate Freight is the boss of Olimar and Louis, and is still unnamed for some reason. He has a wife and made his name known throughout the universe as a great explorer when he was younger. After venturing into space in his youth, he made a shipping company known as Hocotate Freight. He has also been in the shipping business for over 50 years. During the events of Pikmin 2,
Dann ist ja ziemlich alt.
the president realizes he bought the loan from a shop next door to Happy Hocotate Savings and Loan, that shop being all-devouring black hole loan sharks. After being constantly harassed by debt collectors over the phone, he goes into hiding, living under a bridge with animals for a short time until he is kicked out by a group of government officials. He then goes on a run and eats grass to survive. The president is finally caught, however, and he is seemingly tortured and threatened to be buried in Hocotate Swamp if Olimar and Louis don't repay the loan soon. Luckily, they manage to repay the loan. However, Louis is left behind on the planet during the trip back to Hocotate. After giving the loan collectors all of the treasure, the president learns from Olimar that there is still more treasure on the planet. He sends Olimar and Louis to collect more treasure, but immediately realizes that Louis is missing. Wanting to oversee this project, he joins Olimar and they head back to the planet. Together, they save Louis, who was captured by the Titan Dweeble, and collect the rest of the treasure on the planet before heading off to Hocotate. Alf. Alf is one of the protagonists of Pikmin 3. He is a humble young man that has a tuft of blue hair and is an engineer for the SS Drake, a ship his grandfather, Drake, designed. Alf is the second youngest, only being older than one of his brothers and younger than his 12 other brothers and one sister.
12 Brüder! Bruder, sind das Menschen oder sind das Kaninchen? Bro!
During the events of Pikmin 3, Kopai, Alf's home planet, is in the midst of a planet-wide food crisis. They decide to send unnamed scout vessels called Sparrows out into space for search for planets that contain edible matter. Every other Sparrow has found nothing. Fortunately, however, the Sparrow returns with data indicating that one planet has unlimited food resources. Kopai names this mysterious planet PNF 404 and proceeds to send the 3 explorers to PNF 404 in search of food. Meanwhile, Hocotate Freight has fallen into debt once again due to a failed business venture. Olimar and Louis are sent to PNF 404 to recover more treasure to repay this debt. Meanwhile, when the Kopaites arrive on the planet, something goes wrong, and they lose control of the ship. The 3 explorers are forced to make an emergency escape and they fall into different parts of PNF 404. Alf wakes up after falling and is able to make his way towards the SS Drake with the help of some Pikmin he finds. That same day, Olimar and Louis discover the cosmic drive key in the same area Alf was stuck in, and Olimar keeps it as a souvenir for his son. Alf then realizes that the cosmic drive key is missing. The cosmic drive key is needed to go into cosmic speed, and without it they're stuck on PNF 404. Brittany. Brittany is part of the crew sent by Kopai to collect fruit for their aforementioned starving home planet. She is a botanist and records her thoughts on fruit in the fruit file. She also has a font that she refers to as Auntie Bay. During the events of Pikmin 3, Brittany fell into the Garden of Hope when the SS Drake initiated the landing sequence on PNF 404. Unfortunately, she is trapped inside a wooden bucket. Alf is able to rescue her, and after increasing the Drake's receiver range, they are able to track down Charlie's signal. Meanwhile, Olimar and Louis almost have enough treasure to repay their new debt, but Olimar picks up a reading of a golden object in the Formidable Oak. So they head to the Formidable Oak the next day. During their survey there the following day, Olimar spots the glittering gold material on top of a tree. This tree is really a termite hill, and Olimar decides to snatch it up the next day. Olimar ignores Louis' refusal to go into this area with him, and during the following day, Olimar is captured by the Plasm Wraith, while Louis runs away. Shortly after, Louis and the ship are somehow separated, and the ship crash lands into the Garden of Hope, while Louis ends up in the Twilight River. Olimar attempts to escape the area several times, but the Plasm Wraith repeatedly knocks him unconscious, since his spacesuit puts him in forced sleep.
Oh, guck mal, ne? Wenn ich das Bild sehe, erinnere ich mich an den finalen Pikmin 3 Deluxe Let's Play Part, den ich nie hochgeladen habe. Verdammte Scheiße, der Boss hat mich getriggert.
Whatever became of Olimar and Louis? Well, let's talk about Captain Charlie first. Charlie. Charlie is the captain of the SS Drake, and he used to be a ranger.
Er war der
He always
Coolste.
takes his rubber ducky with him as his good luck charm. Charlie is also a legendary hero on Kopai, as he has gone on many missions, like Operation Rubber Ducky Stucky, Operation Rubber Ducky Up a Tree, or Operation Beached Rubber Ducky. He also has a slight crush on Brittany, however, Brittany doesn't seem to have the same feelings for him. He also has a
Das wirkt auch ein bisschen komisch. Britney sieht aus wie 12 und er sieht aus wie 30. Ich weiß nicht, ob das so cool ist.
pet duck named Elizabeth, as well as a pet dog he painted green. After falling into the distant tundra, he discovers a small group of Pikmin and uses them to make his way inside a cave, where he gets gobbled up by a behemoth fossil.
Ja, ist das nicht sogar der erste, den man spielt? Ist Charlie nicht der erste Charakter, den man in Pikmin 3 spielt? Ja, doch, na, doch. Er ist ja der erste, den man spielt. Und dann geht man in die Höhe und, ne, ja. So.
A few days later, Alf and Brittany chase the captain's signal in the distant tundra, and they kill the behemoth fossil,
Aber er ist halt der letzte, glaube ich, den man
who was
wirklich
fortunately
rettet
not digested. Charlie gives them a data file he found while stuck inside
Gott,
the beast's
dieses
belly,
Hurenviech.
and the data file reveals that
Verdammte
Captain Olimar has
Scheiße.
acquired their cosmic drive key. The data file was left behind due to a bug that caused a memory leak in Olimar's copad. However, the copites incorrectly assume Olimar left these data files behind to help other explorers. After increasing the Drake's scanning range again, they locate a signal from the Twilight River, where Louis is able to get through the Copat's emergency channel and contact the Copites, asking them for help. They mistake Louis for Captain Olimar and manage to rescue him from the clutches of the Scornet Maestro. They have to wait until morning to talk to him since his spacesuit put him in forced sleep mode,
Aber an sich
causing him to be
war
unable to
Pikmin 3
wake
das
up. The
Coolste
next
von
day,
allen.
Louis lands the
Denke ich
SS
mal.
Drake in the Garden of Hope while stealing all their well-earned juice as well as Charlie's rubber duck. Louis, you dolt! Louis somehow blows up a wall and attempts to make his escape via the totaled Hokitate ship. However, a quaggled Myreclops wrecks the ship and devours Louis during his attempt to escape. The Copites go after Louis, and they soon defeat the quaggled Myreclops, which spits out Louis after it dies. They take Louis back to the Drake, this time tying him up. Louis reveals the location of Olimar, and the explorers set out to rescue him at the Formidable Oak. They find Olimar in a forced sleep mode in the Formidable Oak. However, he was protected by the Plasma Wraith, who wants Olimar to stay with it at the Formidable Oak for some reason. After defeating the Plasma Wraith, but not killing it, Olimar hands over the Cosmic Drive Key, and both Hookatations receive a ride back home to Hookatate with the SS Drake, while the Copites return to their home planet of Kopai. SS Dolphin. This ship has been through so many traumatic experiences. Olimar and the Pikmin collect his parts to fully rebuild it and leave the planet during Pikmin 1, but it was unfortunately sold off by the president so it could be used to pay off part of the loan in Pikmin 2. Olimar didn't even get to say goodbye. According to Olimar, it has a personality. Though it can't communicate with a speaker like the other ships in the series, Olimar was once the repairman of this vessel, but then turned into the captain of it. He also designed parts of the ship, such as the bowsprit. Apparently, Olimar was scammed when he bought many of his ship parts, such as the extraordinary bolt, or the zirconium rotor. In Pikmin 3, Olimar expresses his desire to reclaim his ship from the all-devouring black hole loan sharks, or whoever they sold it to, so perhaps in Pikmin 4, we will be able to retrieve it. Hokotate's ship, one of the most iconic ships from the franchise, though it still doesn't have a name in the North American, Australian, or Europe version yet. In Japan, however,
wirklich.
it is called the SS Dolphin's first model. It has a personality much like the SS Dolphin, but this time it can actually speak. It is a pink ship that is owned by Hookatate Freight, and it has actually been with the company
Was ist dieses Bild? Was ist dieses Bild, Bro?
since it first opened. It is described as an old ship, and it has many holes in its hull. It seems the ship was given to Louis so that he could deliver his shipment of golden Pikmin carrots in Olimar's absence. After Olimar returns, they use it to return to PN 404 to collect treasures, as it's the only ship they have. In Pikmin 3, it's shown that it's completely destroyed by the quaggled Myreclops when Louis tried to escape with it after he fled from the Copites. In Pikmin 3 Deluxe, after Olimar and Louis arrive back on Hookatate, the president orders them to return to PN 404 to recover the Hokotate ship, likely because it contains all of the treasure they need to repay their new debt. They land on the planet via a blue pod. Their landing scared the Pikmin, however, so the two spent their days back on the planet collecting and producing Pikmin. 2 days later, they explore the Garden of Hope, clearing the area of any dangerous creature as they search for their wrecked ship. After clearing the area of hostiles, Olimar and Louis discover part of the Hokotate Freight ship.
Sind das nicht basically ist das nicht einfach an sich die Challenge-Missionen? Das sind ja die Challenge-Missionen einfach an sich. Ja, aber die Challenge
Olimar realizes that many of the
die habe ich tatsächlich nie 100% gemacht. Ich habe ein paar gemacht, aber nie alle tatsächlich.
Ship parts were scattered around the planet, and they set off to search for them. Next day, they find and recover the ship's main engine in the distant tundra. A few days later, they collect treasure in the Twilight River, but at the end of the day, Louis eats half of the fruit they found. Olimar then asks Louis what happened, and harshly ridiculed Louis for his excessive appetite. This resulted in Louis running away. The next day, Olimar searches for Louis, and after reuniting, Louis apologizes for what he did. A couple days later, they follow signals into a cave underground, and discover and collect the Cronus reactor in the formidable oak. On the 10th day, the radar picks up signals from the remaining ship parts. Olimar finds a point where all the signals from the parts converge and learns that a cluster of ship parts were eaten by indigenous life forms. Olimar and Louis retrieve the last few ship parts of the Hokotate ship from a pair of golden arachno orbs. And after doing so, they blast off with a now...
Diese verfickten Kackspinnen. Gott, es gibt dieses eine Video mit... Dieses eine Let's Play-Part damals, ach du Scheiße, wirklich, diese Spinne, die hat mich wahnsinnig gemacht. Die hat mich fertig gemacht.
Repaired company ship and head back home to Hokotate. SS Drake. This ship is the one which the three Copites used, those being Alf, Brittany, and Charlie. This ship is more round shaped compared to the previous ships. It has a white coating and hundreds of probably important components stick out from the outside. The name of the ship was given to the ship from its designer, Alf's grandfather, Drake, who designed it specifically to be used by Alf, Brittany, and Charlie during their mission to save Kopite from starvation. SS Dolphin 2. The SS Dolphin 2 is the ship Olimar uses at the time of Hey Pikmin. It runs on golden acorns known as sparkling seeds and can speak like the Hokotate ship from Pikmin 2.
Was ist Hey Pikmin? Ist Hey Pikmin der 3DS-Teil? Ja, ne? Weil, ich habe kurz gesagt, das ist vielleicht der Mobile-Teil, aber Pikmin Bloom war ja der Mobile-Teil. Ja, nee, dann ist es wahrscheinlich der 3DS-Teil.
The ship is a combination of the designs of the original SS Dolphin and the Hokotate freight ship, with its same functions and colors. It's also pretty sassy to Olimar from time to time, though it has much more polite than the Hokotate ship. It enjoys being Olimar's right-hand man, and makes sure Olimar is doing well. It also has a disco ball in it. During the events of Hey Pikmin, Olimar was heading home inside the SS Dolphin 2 after finishing a delivery. He engaged the warp back to Hokotate, but something has gone wrong with the warp. The ship come out of the warp, leaving them in the middle of a meteor shower. Olimar attempted to swerve out of the way, however the Dolphin's 2 engine took a hit from the pair of meteors, making Olimar lose control, and sending his ship plummeting to the surface of a nearby planet. A part of the ship, the sparkling converter, fell out while the ship was falling into the planet. The SS Dolphin 2 crashes onto the planet and Olimar blacks out. After Olimar is awakened by the SS Dolphin 2, they also discover that Pikmin are on this new planet. They also learn that the SS Dolphin 2 fuel supply, Sparklium, has been lost, and now they need 30,000 Sparklium to fully fuel the SS Dolphin 2. Luckily, Olimar and the Dolphin 2 are able to recover 30,000 Sparklium with the help.
Das? Heilige Scheiße. Ach du heilige Mutter Maria. Ich habe in meinem Leben noch nicht eine Sekunde Hey Pikmin Gameplay gesehen. Und mein Leben wäre auch schön gewesen ohne diese Info. Heilige Scheiße, was ist das denn?
Help of the Pikmin after searching the planet.
Auf
However,
einmal
the Dolphin 2 realizes that
2D-Plattformer.
the Sparklium converter is missing, a ship part that is required if they ever wanted to leave the planet. Olimar soon goes to the area that the Sparklium converter is located in, and discovers the Berserk Leech Hydro, a Leech Hydro that grew vicious because of the Sparklium converter fell into it as it slumbered. The influx of the energy sent its parasitic urge out of control. Olimar, with the help of the Pikmin, defeats the Berserk Leech Hydro. The Leech Hydro climbs out of the plant it was controlling and chases after Olimar. However, the Sparklium converter quickly falls out of its body, returning to its peaceful state. After collecting the missing ship part and putting it back in its place, the SS Dolphin 2 is finally fully fueled and repaired.
Wirklich.
Olimar gives the Pikmin one last farewell before traveling back home to Hokotate. Candy Pop Buds related to Pikmin. Pikmin and the Candy Pop Buds could be related to one another. Olimar mentions that it could be the next stage of Pikmin evolution. Olimar also mentions how Candy Pop Buds are instinctively linked to the Pikmin's reproductive system. It is said that Candy Pop Buds might have a limited photosynthetic capabilities, meaning it is able to alternate means obtaining nutrients, such as parasitic or predatory behavior. Pikmin types. There are only 9 Pikmin that we know of so far, that being red, yellow, blue, purple, white, rock, wing, parasite, and ice Pikmin. There are technically 11 if we count Mushroom Pikmin and Olimar Pikmin at the end of the...
Was ist mit den Sind es 2 neue angekündigte Pikmin-Arten in neuen Pikmin? Auf jeden Fall dieses grüne Viech und ich glaube noch eins, ne? Das sind ja eigentlich
The
mehr.
bad ending of Pikmin 1, but we don't have to count those. All these Pikmin have different traits, except for Olimar Pikmin. Red Pikmin are immune to fire and deal more damage. Yellow Pikmin can dig faster, conduct electricity, immune to electricity, and can be thrown higher. Blue Pikmin are immune to water and can save drowning Pikmin. Purple Pikmin can carry as much as 10 Pikmin, are slower, can deal more damage, and won't be blown away by puffy blowhogs. White Pikmin move faster, are immune to poison enemies when eaten, and are weaker than other Pikmin. Bulbmin are immune to poison, electricity, fire, and water. Rock Pikmin can smash glass and crystal, deal more damage,
Rock Pikmin sind die besten Pikmin, not gonna lie.
but they can't latch onto enemies like other Pikmin can. Wing Pikmin can fly around and hold leaders and make them fall slower and hate Pikmin. Yellow Pikmin's many abilities. Over the course of the series, Yellow Pikmin have had many different abilities. These abilities include being thrown higher and are able to carry bond rocks in Pikmin 1. Then in Pikmin 2, they are immune to electricity as well. Finally, in Pikmin 3, they dig up treasure quicker, conduct electricity, and all the previous traits except for exclusively carrying bomb rocks, as all Pikmin types can now carry bomb rocks in the third game. Character D and other beta characters. Character D was a leader shown in early concept art for Pikmin 3. There's also beta footage of Pikmin 3 from E3 showing an early design of Alf and Brittany wearing a yellow suit, and a mysterious leader who was blonde
Gott sei Dank gab's das
and
nicht.
resembled Olimar. Unfortunately, neither character D or the strange blonde leader were present in the final game. Real life animals. We see real world butterflies and treasure in a bottle from a Pikmin short movie. In Pikmin 3's title screen, if you wait long enough, you can hear a sheep bleeding in the background. So far, all real-life animals in the Pikmin have been non-canon. However, hermit crabs are mentioned in Olimar's notes on the Hermit Crawmad, so it's safe to say some real animals still exist on PNF 404, just like how there are many real plants on PNF 404 as well. Pikpik carrots. Pikpik carrots, also known as Pikpik brand carrots, are famous carrots from Huckatade. They are what the Pikmin are named after. There are orange Pikpik carrots, as well as miniature red, yellow, and blue Pikpik carrots. There are also golden Pikpik carrots that seem to be very expensive and important. Olimar also mentions Pikpik carrot flavored cookies as well.
Wie oft hat
Since they are
jetzt eigentlich
referred
Pikpik Carrots in einer Minute gesagt?
to as Pikmin brand carrots, it is safe to assume that Pikpik is in fact a brand and not a species or a breed.
Ich merke schon, er erklärt
There's
wirklich
also a music
alles.
band called Pikpik in Pikmin 2, implying that whatever company owns Pikpik carrots made this brand to promote their carrots. Mist-colored buds on the blue Pikmin. In the ending cutscene of Olimar's comeback, you can see that some of the blue Pikmin's buds are mist-colored. Was this some foreshadowing the different flower colors in Pikmin Bloom? Probably not. Olimar's family. If you played any Pikmin game and read Olimar's notes, he usually talks about how he loves his family and misses them, but unfortunately, he cannot them because he is busy with his job all the time. An important thing to note that Olimar's son really wants to go to PNF 404 with his father. Will this be a part of the story in Pikmin 4? Pikmin built the walls. Ever wonder where those dirt, stone, and glass walls came from? The Pikmin probably built them so they can keep predators out of certain areas. They know how to build bridges, so it makes sense that they know how to build walls too. On top of this, Pikmin can already make snowmen as seen in Pikmin 2 and 3, as well as shrines of Olimar on walls in Pikmin 3 Deluxe. They seem to idolize the present and Olimar, as there are drawings and snowmen of Olimar in the present respectively. PNF 404 is Earth. Well, obviously, I don't think any other planet has Duracell or 7-Up bottle caps. I would give more detail, but do I really need to? PNF 404 is without a doubt Earth. Strange required ship parts. In Pikmin 1, many ship parts that probably won't affect the SS Dolphin's ability to travel at super light speed or protect Olimar from harm are still required for some reason. These include the Interstellar Radio, the Sagittarius, the Libra, the Geiger Counter, the Whimsical Radar, and the Pilot Seat. The most notorious one is the pilot seat, but it's probably required because who wants to sit on in a comfortable seat for a long period of time? Pikmin flowers are real. The Chanastone Cordatum flowers are small and have 5 petals. They can also be colored white, blue, and pink. They were created by Nintendo to look like the same flowers that the Pikmin use on their heads. Copad. Copads are devices used by all 5 playable characters in Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 3 Deluxe. A Copad can record notes and save found data files into its Exploration Notes application. It is also equipped with a radar that can be
Wisst ihr, wie
used
das
to detect...
aussieht? Kennt ihr diese Werbung von damals? Diese Kameras für Kinder? Diese bunten Kameras, wo man also Games auch drauf zocken kann, so ein Scheiß. Irgendwie sieht das so ein bisschen danach aus.
Signals, allowing a bird's eye view of the surrounding terrain. There's also a camera that can let you take pictures with it on the Copad. It also seems highly
Ist er
customizable.
View
Itself
Game?
installs an application to keep track of the
Ja, oh
Pikmin.
mein Gott. Ja, es
Unlike
ist
whatever the Hokotate ship used to communicate with the prison or Olimar's family in Pikmin 2, Kopites don't need to be in low orbit to communicate with the rest of space. In past Pikmin games, Olimar and crew would use the ship's computer, also known as the ship's monitor, to access information about the Pikmin or use the radar. Olimar also mentioned using portable scanners to gather information about the different creatures on PNF 404 during Pikmin 2. Blue's ship and Olimar's comeback. The ship that Olimar and Louis are in during the opening cutscene in Olimar's comeback is never explained. However, it can be surmised that it was used around the planet until day 3 of their journey to repair the Hokotate ship. Since on day 3, they found the remains of the Hokotate ship and started using the research pod to get around. This is because the research pod has a treasure hoard, while the blue ship doesn't. And since they need to collect treasure somehow during the events of Olimar's comeback, this is the only way they could store them. Hokotate's ship and the SS Dolphin have the same parts. Some of the ship parts you get both in Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 3 Deluxe are very similar, such as the Nova Blaster, Analog Computer, Repair Type Bolt, and the Cronus Reactor. However, the main engine is widely different, as it is a sublight engine according to Olimar. Captain Olimar also says that the main engine used to be a luxury item in Pikmin 3. In Pikmin 2, Olimar mentions that the ship has a different spring than the gravity jumper, and he also mentions that the Hokotate ship's reactor in Pikmin 2 is different from the Cronus reactor, as it is able to power the battery of Olimar and Louis' life support systems, unlike the Dolphin's reactor. However, by the time of Pikmin 3 Deluxe, the Hokotate ship has a Cronus reactor like the SS Dolphin. Post-apocalyptic Earth. The Pikmin series has never confirmed Earth to be post-apocalyptic, but since almost all architecture seems to be in shambles, that is an easy conclusion to come to. Such architecture is seen in the distant spring, the final trial, the perplexing pool, the shower room, Glutton's kitchen, other various suburbs and caves, and the Garden of Hope.
Ich wollte gerade schon sagen, ist das nicht schon indirekt vom Spielaufbau her bestätigt? So.
These man-made objects in architecture include shower tiles, metallic floors, walls, brick walls, garden pots, and other man-made objects that seem to have been long abandoned. On top of this, in Pikmin 1, the Geiger counter seems to be shaking rapidly. In real life, Geiger counters detect radiation. Is it detecting radiation from a nuclear fallout, or is it just broken after it fell out of the SS Dolphin?
Jungs, wir haben Sky geschafft. Wir haben jetzt gerade die offensichtlichsten der offensichtlichsten Sachen mitbekommen. Sehr gut.
Louis' fall for debt. In Pikmin 2, after completing every challenge mode level without losing a single Pikmin...
Ist es 1 von 5? Es gibt noch Tier 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 von 8.
A cutscene becomes available in the bonus menu, revealing that Louis actually ate all the golden Pikmin carrots because he couldn't control his powerful hunger. This means Louis caused the president suffering the deaths of dozens upon a Pikmin. Damn it, Louis. E3 Pikmin 3 beta map. During 2012 E3, Pikmin 3 was shown off to the public. It had many screenshots and gameplay footage. During one of the videos shown, there's a huge river with one of the captains riding down it on a lily pad. There are skier skates in the background as well. People think that this is an early version of the Twilight River map, or the 6th area for the player to land in. Either way, it's cool footage to see, nothing less. Master Onion are matured Queen Candy Pop Buds. Master Onion and Queen Candy Pop Buds can produce different types of Pikmin. So could the Master Onions be mature Queen Candy Pop Buds? Olimar states that the Onion and Candy Pop Buds are related in the Prima Guide, which supports this theory just a bit. Enemies' technical names. Technical names are names used by zoologists and scientists rather than Olimar. Olimar's names, referred to as common names, are the names enemies we are all familiar with, such as the Bulborb, the Fiery Blowhog, and the Honeywisp. However, the technical names of these creatures would be the Greater Grubdog, the Porphycherno, and the Nectar Spectre, respectively. These technical names originated from the field guide from the Nintendo's Player's Guide for the original Pikmin. Pikmin U. Pikmin U is an essential nutrient that simulates internal function and accelerates metabolism in Kopites. It is necessary that Kopites eat food containing Pictanium U, or else they will die. Fruits usually contain Pictanium U, unlike vegetables or other fruits. This is why the theory that the shipment of golden Pikmin carrots that were meant to aid Kopites' crisis is untrue, as Pikmin carrots contain no Pictanium U. Pikmin Strategy Guide Canonicity. The strategy guides for Pikmin 1 contain extra information, such as their own Piclopedias and some notes from Olimar. However, their canonicity is up for debate, as it implies that Pikmin 1's challenge mode is canon, and that the SS Dolphin hit the meteor due to Olimar's mishandling of the ship, rather than the autopilot failing. However, since its version of the Wikipedia, the field guide, has information what was later used in Pikmin 2, such as the scientific names for all enemies, it is likely that this part of the book is canon. This also means when Olimar returned from PNF 404, he spread word of his discoveries, which explains why the Wikipedia and Pikmin 2 acts if these creatures have been studied extensively by other researchers. Hokotate and Kopai share similar food and animals to Earth. The food and animals on Hokotate and Kopai must be very similar to the ones on Earth, as some creatures are referred to as dolphins, ducks, geese, dogs, starfish, and octopuses wherever characters talks about an animal from their home planet.
Vielleicht sind aber auch das einfach Menschen, die damals von der Erde bei der Apokalypse zu anderen Planeten im Universum geflogen sind und eigene neue Zivilisationen gegründet haben. Denk mal drüber nach.
However, given that Bulby looks wildly different from what we would consider a dog, it is likely that these creatures don't resemble their Earth counterparts whatsoever. Foods such as carrot, onions, tangerines, and noodles are also mentioned in the series, and since Pik-Pik carrots don't resemble the average carrot from Earth, these probably don't look like their Earth counterparts either. However, Hokotate onions look just like Earth onions according to Olimar and the ship. How strange. Stage Debut. Stage Debut is a cancelled Nintendo game that was shown off in E3 2003. Basically, it was a game where you take a picture of yourself and the game puts the picture on a model which dances. This game was more than that since it had many different characters like villagers from Animal Crossing and even the Pikmin themselves. Olimar was also present. People say that this game could also influence Tomodachi Life due to it being a game where you got to look at these Nintendo characters communicating with one another. Mamuta and Smoky Prog are related. In Pikmin 1, it is stated that some believe that the Mamuta and the Smoky Prog are related, and that the Smoky Prog was a larva version of the Mamuta that was unable to complete transformation. The Smoky Prog's technical name, as in what the zoologists from Hokotate call a creature instead of what Olimar calls it, is a Piku-Lord, or the Lord of the Pikmin. Mamuta's technical name is the Great Protector, or God of all Pikmin. They all also have a relationship with the Pikmin, as implied by their technical names, as Mamuta has symbols similar to the onions on their armband-like attachments, and the Smoky Prog goes straight for the onions in order to slaughter any Pikmin left in the ground. On top of all this, they also have polar opposites in how they operate, as Mamuta smash Pikmin into the ground, turning them into flour in the process, while the Smoky Prog pulls out any Pikmin out of the ground in order to slaughter them with its poison trail. I hope this comes back in Pikmin 4.
Parasite Pikmin. Parasite Pikmin are Pikmin that are, well, a parasite. They take control over a host, usually a bulborb, by burying their root-like limbs into the nervous system of the host bulborb and infusing it with natural hormonal excretions. Then the bulbman is able to control virtually all of the host's bodily functions. The bulbmen are harmless when juvenile, however a mature bulborb's voracious appetite seems impossible to suppress, leading it to eating other Pikmin. Juvenile bulbmen can be controlled when you blow the whistle and are immune to water, fire, electricity, and poison. To counter how powerful the bulbmen are, the player can't take these Pikmin outside the cave they were found in. So they can jump further down into sub-level entrances, but not geysers.
Ach so, ich wollte gerade schon fragen, woher die herkommen. Die sind also nur only in den Dungeons da drin.
That Nintendo.
Other explorers. In Pikmin 2, it is heavily implied that other explorers have been to the planet after Olimar crash landed. This is implied throughout Olimar's notes in the Wikipedia, with the mention of other explorers and researchers. Olimar explains that his information is obtained by the use of a portable scanner that they brought with them during Pikmin 2. According to the player's guide, when Captain Olimar returned to his home planet after the original Pikmin, he retold stories of the wonders and exotic creatures he encountered during his stay on the unknown world, that is PNF 404. Zoologists then used Olimar's detailed notes as a basis for their studies on alien life forms. Perhaps these researchers will play a part in Pikmin 4. Valley of Repose is a street. The first area in Pikmin 2 is a Valley of Repose. This area is a snow-covered street with snowmen, probably built by the Pikmin like I said earlier, on alien life forms. Perhaps these researchers will play a part in Pikmin 4. Valley of Repose is a street. The first area in Pikmin 2 is a Valley of Repose. This area is a snow-covered street with snowmen, probably built by the Pikmin like I said earlier. You can't clearly see these in the game while exploring, but if you do a bird's eye view of the map, we can see that there's a manhole that a bulborb is sleeping on. Heading to more back of the area of the Valley of Repose, we can see white thick lines marking the ground. These lines are street crossing lanes.
LOL. LOL.
And finally, we can see a shadow of what seems to be a telephone pole when we look at the map from above. Friendly Mushroom Pikmin glitch. In Pikmin 1, there's a glitch in which that turns the Mushroom Pikmin friendly. The player will not be able to throw, whistle, or pluck these Pikmin. They will not harm Olimar or any Pikmin in any way. They will just sit there and do nothing. However, Mushroom Pikmin retain their former traits from when they weren't affected by the puff stool, such as infected blue Pikmin will be able to swim. Olimar's comeback retcon final voyage log. You see, the original Pikmin 3 didn't have side stories, and the game ended on a cliffhanger where an object fell from the sky and a bunch of Pikmin ran towards it. If you got the best ending by collecting all fruits, the final voyage, written by Alf, mentions that Louie is missing. However, this was retconned by Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and now Louie was never left behind. But for some weird reason, the final voyage log is still left in Pikmin 3 Deluxe. The developers probably just forgot. Anyway, in my opinion, this makes much more sense because why would Alf think Louie could survive on his own? Both times that they knew that Louie was alone on the planet, he was captured or eaten. On top of that, Alf doesn't tell anyone, and Olimar doesn't notice. I'm happy Pikmin 3 retcons. It makes a whole lot more sense now. Joe Hogatate. In one of the sales pitches, it randomly mentions a person by the name of Joe Hogatate. Many people theorize about this, thinking it either means a random Joe from Hogatate, or possibly that Joe Hogatate is a descendant of the founder of the planet Hogatate. Perhaps it is the mayor that Olimar mentions in his notes. You might just have to wait and see. Duck Hunt Lab. In the opening cutscene of Pikmin 3, during the part where something goes horribly wrong, a sound effect plays that is actually the sound of the dog from Duck Hunt making a sound when you miss a duck. Cool little Easter egg. Unable to single cycle bosses. When fighting a boss in Pikmin 3, the boss has a limit on how much damage you can do it during a cycle. This is easily shown in the armored Maudat fight. The Pikmin should be able to kill it easily, as a lot of health can be dealt when attacking the Maudat's tail. However, due to the armored Maudat's limit on how much you can take it down during a cycle, its boss fight is prolonged. What's inside the
Ja, das ist halt, damit man nicht einfach so reinmeddeln kann, ne, so.
The Pikmin onions. Many people wonder what is inside the onions. Onions are the nest of the Pikmin, protecting them from predators during the night by lifting off into low orbit. With so many Pikmin being able to fit in an onion, people started speculating what could be inside the onion. Some say it's filled with endless amounts of marketable Louie plushies. Others say that it's a row of endless beds for all the Pikmin to go to sleep on. Personally, I think that it's a bustling city sprawling with Pikmin and train systems that lead them to the outside world. The onion also seems to be intelligent, as they know when to stop spitting out sprouts when there are 100 Pikmin already on the field, including wild Pikmin. There are other examples, like when the red onion lets out a single red Pikmin in Pikmin 2 for Louie to pluck in order for him to reunite with Olimar. Also, when Olimar is sucked up by the onion in Pikmin 1, it releases fireworks. However, in Pikmin 2, it does not release fireworks when a leader gets sucked into it when using the knapsack. Olimar also mentions he wishes he could know what's inside the Pikmin onion, as he wonders if somehow transcends the laws of physics. The onion also has strange markings on it, which is extremely similar to the one seen on the arms of the Mamita. In Pikmin 3 and Hey Pikmin, we can see the onions have floating colors around inside them, as if they were liquids. The onion also releases a beam of light from where the spoilers are sucked up, such as pellet posies on dead enemies. This beam of light is also used to call out your Pikmin if you're a leader. Also, the legs of the onion are used by Pikmin to go into the onion itself. As they climb these legs, enter a hole where the legs come out of. In Pikmin 1 and 2, these legs would bend when Olimar were flying away. However, in Pikmin 3, these legs are fully sucked into the onion's main body from where the onion flies. The onions also need light to live, as they seem to deactivate in areas with no light. On an unrelated note, Olimar states that the onion's legs are covered by tiny little hairs, and that is a tad disturbing. Sand belching Mearslug's anus mouth. The fan favorite Piccolopedia from Pikmin 2 made a grand return to Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and with it, new entries
der
from
Boss. Der hat so viele meiner Pikmins getötet. Du Mistsau. Du verdammte Mistsau. Du hast so viele meiner Pikmins auf dem Gewissen. Weißt du das? Arschloch.
from each of the leaders, including Captain Olimar and Louie. In Olimar's comments for the third boss of the game, the sand-belching Mearslug, he says that the mouth of the beast is not only a way to eat, but also a way to defecate. Yep, that's right, the Mearslug's mouth is also its anus. Not only that though, the brown boulders it shoots out of its mouth aren't actually boulders. I bet you could guess what they are with all the information I gave thus far. Ujadani, which days 1, 31, and 91 all have in common? That's right, there are days that the Ujadani show up. These little orange critters only spawn in the Wistful Wild. They appear in two specific spots, somewhere near their Dream Den and next to the Hall of Heroes. Ujadani only appear every 30 days, so day 1, day 31, day 61, etc. They appear in the form of a huge pack, and upon killing them, they drop many sprays. If you're low on sprays, you can attack these guys and easily get over 30 of each spray. But be careful though, they can attack with poison. Just bring white Pikmin and you'll be fine. They also have an e-reader card with a never before seen render of these guys, which is how we know their name, because they don't show up in the Piccolopedia. Arachnorph's mean of consumption. A lot of creatures from the Arachnor family eat collectibles. Throughout the Pikmin games, these creatures include the beady longlegs, man-at legs, shaggy longlegs, etc., carrying objects in what seems to be their heads. When these creatures die, the head splits apart, releasing whatever object is inside it. In Pikmin 2, Olimar calls the beady longlegs a massive Pikmin devouring spider, meaning that it has to consume Pikmin somehow. Olimar also states that the spherical body proportion carries most of its internal organs, which raises a question on how these objects and Pikmin even fit inside there to begin with. These creatures know something we don't. How do they consume Pikmin and other such items? The world will likely never know. Also, in Pikmin 2, it is stated that arachnoids appear to be leveling terrain for some unknown reason. I have a feeling this is important. Why are they doing so? Will Pikmin 4 give us some answers to these questions?
Nice! Danke, Google Chrome! Danke, dass du einfach das Video neu startest. Wir bedanken uns recht herzlich für deinen Beitrag. Super, nice. Sehr gut.
Space bunnies are real. In Pikmin 2, many people think that the space bunnies were made.
Wartet. Ich denke, ich sollte auch so weiter meine Streams machen. Ich denke, das ging nach einem guten Plan. Ich würde sagen, wir gucken einfach mal das Video weiter. Ich denke, also das klingt nach einem guten Plan. Wir können jetzt einfach mal das Video weiter gucken und ja.
Made up by Louis to cover up the fact he ate the cargo of golden pick carrots. However, the president mentions that space bunnies are real, but that he never heard of any being on the shipping.
Na, ich meine, ein gutes Mikrofon kostet ja auch. Na, ich meine zum Beispiel dieses Headset, was ich habe, 30 Euro. Ich meine, warte mal, kriege ich das gerade mal kurz eingestellt? Ich wechsle kurz. Nee, scheiße, man hört mich da gar nicht. Oder? Warte, kriege ich das hin? Nee. Doch! Ich weiß nicht, das hört sich zwar auch nicht 100% gut an, aber ich denke, es ist auch nicht, komplett Arsch, würde ich sagen. Und es hat 30 Euro gekostet. Also, ja.
Lane Louis was taking. According to the president of Hocotate Freight, the route Louis took was always a safe shipping lane.
Warum ist eigentlich jetzt schon wieder Untertitel weg? Diese Reaction ist sehr verwirrend. An die Reaction-Zuschauer, ich hoffe, ihr seid trotzdem noch dran.
Which makes sense since it was Louis' first mission. The president also starts to question if a space bunny did attack Louis and eat his cargo. However, the president never brings up these suspicions over Louis' incident ever again. Perhaps he realized what actually happened, but never confronted Louis about it because he doesn't see the point in saying anything about it at that point. Mario in Pikmin 1 files. In Pikmin 1's files, a model of Mario is found in the files. Some say that this could be a leftover asset from Super Mario 128, if that game did soon become Pikmin. Another thing in the files is a Goomba named Keribo.mod. It looks a lot like a Goomba called Kug underneath Pinna Park in Super Mario Sunshine. Who knows why they're here? Louis controls the Titan Dweevil. Pikmin 2's final boss is the Titan Dweevil. It apparently captured Louis. However, several clues indicate that Louis was somewhat in control all along. Olimar's journal entry for the King of Bugs, which is Louis' proper title, notes that Louis has an unusually close connection with insects. It also suggests the idea that Louis could have been controlling the Titan Dweevil the entire time. The ship confirms this by saying Louis hijacked the Titan Dweevil after the large insect kidnapped him. The ship also states that he operates on the same wavelengths as insects, often with dangerous results. Olimar's notes for the volatile Dweevil states that the Dweevil family exhibits a characteristic where a Dweevil's behavioral patterns change based on the object the Dweevil carries on its back. Olimar also notes that Titan Dweevils prefer to carry shiny objects above all others, which could be why it captured Louis, as Louis' antenna is shiny. However, I do not think Louis desired to kill Olimar, the president, or the Pikmin. He may have eaten the entire cargo of Pick brand carrots and the large amount of fruit they gathered in Olimar's comeback, as well as stealing all the Kopite's juice because he thought that they had kidnapped him, but he has never gone out of his way to actively harm others since the Titan Dweevil incident. Anyway, here's my theory on what actually happened. Louis somehow made it to the final sub-level of the Dream Den, where he was kidnapped by the Titan Dweevil because of his shiny antenna. Louis expected to be eaten, but when he was just placed on top of the creature's head, he declared himself to be the king of bugs. However, like all Dweevils, the Titan Dweevil's behavior changes on what it's carrying, so due to Louis still being bitter about Olimar accidentally leaving him behind on PNF 404, the Titan Dweevil's behavior changed to wanting to murder Olimar and the President, since it was influenced by the 4 weapons it was carrying on its back. Louis also operates on the same wavelengths as insects, which is likely why the Titan Dweevil's behavior also changed based on Louis' emotions.
Adam and Eve. When Pikmin 1 was in development, it was originally going to be...
Hallo Leute, ich würde euch gerne heute etwas über Pikmin Iceberg erzählen. Ja, ich hoffe euch gefällt's. Lasst gern ein Like da, abonniert gern den Kanal, um nichts mehr zu verpassen. Und ich würde sagen, wir gehen straight into it. Alles klar, machen wir weiter.
Called Adam and Eve. This would be similar to Pikmin, but with a second player who you'd reproduce with. Not only that, you'd make your children fight wildlife like mammoths. You would be able to make and expand your...
Kannst du bitte dein Mikrofon schlechter machen? Ich kann das Mikrofon nicht noch schlechter machen. Das ist... Oh doch, ich könnte es ausmachen. Nee, das wäre ja dann besser. Nee, leider nicht.
Be able to protect it from wild creatures. The game was going to be more of a classic RTS than what we're used to with Pikmin's approach to the genre. However, this changed into Pikmin eventually, and things like the mammoths became the bulwarps we all know and love. Space pirates. Olimar states that the guard satellite has protected him from space pirates many times. This is the only time that space pirates are ever mentioned, but hopefully it won't be the last. Pikmin 2 is spoiled food.
Clash of Clans.
A lot of treasure in Pikmin 2 is food. However, all of them are in pristine condition. How is this so? Well, we don't exactly know. However, it could mean that Pikmin 1 and 2 takes place recently after humanity's extinction. Hey Pikmin's planet was colonized by humanity. Hey Pikmin takes place on a separate planet from the mainline games. However, humanity seems to have been there as well. People theorize that this is a colonized and terraformed version of the Moon or Mars. However, nothing is confirmed.
Ja, das hier ist bestimmt terraformed Moon oder Mars. Ich glaub's auch.
Strangely, there is no visible star when looking at the planet from the sector selection menu. What could this mean? Well, I personally just think it's not there so the star's glare doesn't get in the way, and that for lore purposes, there is a star that Hey Pikmin's planet orbits.
Master of Dimension X. In the ship's sales pitch for the prototype detector, he questions whether the object is a miracle gadget born of...
Wisst ihr was? Ich glaube, ich mache auch ich mache vor Pikmin 4 Release, ich übersetze dieses Video einfach ins Deutsch. Ich werde das Video einfach auf Deutsch nochmal bringen. Einfach mit den gleichen Punkten, der gleichen Reihenfolge. Und der Anfang des Videos wird so aussehen. Hallo Leute, willkommen zu meinem Pikmin Iceberg. Da ja bald Pikmin 4 rauskommt, da habe ich gedacht, ich mache einen deutschen Pikmin Iceberg. Ich hoffe, euch gefällt's. Ja, das hat jetzt nichts mit ihr zu tun, weil ihm, keine Ahnung, das Mikrofon, das ist ja wenigstens gerade mal halbwegs okay, ne? Aber wie gesagt, nicht jeder kann sich krasses Equipment leisten, aber wie gesagt, so ein 30-Euro-Headset hat meistens auch einigermaßen gute Qualität. Sogar ein Handy-Mikrofon hat meistens eigentlich einigermaßen gute Qualität.
Universal Desire, or a machine manufactured by the master...
Ja, in dem Fall ist das Mikrofon eigentlich okay, ne? Will ich nochmal gesagt
Dimension
haben.
X. We must wonder, who is this master of Dimension X? And what
Ich könnte der Master... Ach komm.
is Dimension X? Perhaps it is the dimension where the water wraith comes from. Or the dimension that Pikmin 2's challenge mode takes place in. Or maybe all of these dimensions are one and the same? We will have to hope that we will get some answers in Pikmin 4. The Hokatate freight ship knows. The still unnamed company ship from Pikmin 2 had to have known that Louis ate all of the golden Pick carrots. But for some reason, it never tells anybody. How peculiar of it. Olimar's nightmare. In Pikmin 3, Olimar explains in one of his data files that he had a terrible dream where Pikmin carried him to their onion after he had been ravaged by creatures. This is a reference to the bad ending of Pikmin 1, where the Pikmin bring Olimar's corpse back to their onion after he died, when he unsuccessfully attempts to leave PNF 404. Blue Pikmin lifeguard removal. In Pikmin 1 and 2, blue Pikmin could save drowning Pikmin by throwing them onto shore. However, this feature was removed in Pikmin 3 since Pikmin have better AI and can escape without the help of blue Pikmin. Although, it would be great to see this feature reappear in Pikmin 4. Giant bread bug theme. Unlike all the other bosses in Pikmin 2, the giant bread bug has its own theme. This makes
Was ist denn eigentlich dieser Boss zum Teufel? Ich habe ja Pikmin 2 nicht gespielt, aber was ist denn das? Ja, wirklich, was ist denn das?
Since it's a pretty goofy boss.
Solar System. The Solar System is an upgrade in Pikmin 2 that brightens all caves. However, how does it work? Well, according to the ship, it combined a light bulb Olimar found with a synthetic sun it had secretly been developing. This created an object called a solar system, which was used to brighten up every sub-level in the game. Why was it developing a synthetic sun in secret? I have no idea. Anyway, in Hey Pikmin, Olimar
Ich hab keine Ahnung, weiter geht's.
calls the light bulbs they collect artificial suns, which makes sense since they say that the light bulb they found in Pikmin 2 replicates the intense solar beams of the sun. 3 Sacred Treasures of Samodush. The 3 sacred treasures of Samodush are brought up once by Olimar and the ship when they discover the broken food master. The ship seems to think that it is one of these 3 treasures, however it is just a broken ladle. According to the ship, one of the 3 sacred treasures of Samodush is an artifact of endless food and drink. As for Samodush, we have no idea what it could possibly be. It could be a person, or a place, or perhaps an ancient Hoktatian civilization? Maybe Pikmin 4 will give us some answers.
Danke, Untertitel. Pikmin 4, alles klar.
Pikmin and Mario Golf. In Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Pikmin can be seen whenever a golf ball lands into the flowers. What a cool little Easter egg. The Pikmin's models don't have eyes though, which is
Heißt das etwa, dass die Planeten, auf denen Olimar und so landen, dass das eigentlich die Welt von Super Mario ist? Haben wir gerade herausgefunden, dass Mario und Pikmin auf dem gleichen Planeten spielen? Ich habe keine Ahnung.
disturbing. Pikmin Bloom is pre-apocalyptic PNF 404. Some people think that Pikmin Bloom is a pre-apocalyptic version of PNF 404, which could be true. However, it is likely just a fun little non-canon spin-off game with no bearing on the plot of the Pikmin games.
Oh, warum ist das schon wieder so laut? Deep Waters, Leute.
Hey everybody, I'm Flamsy, and I'm happy to be a part of Fernando's Iceberg today. Anyway, let's get right into it.
Ich wollte gerade sagen, mach mal
How the
jetzt.
rock Pikmin's onion was crystallized. In Pikmin 3, the onion used by the rock Pikmin is encased in crystal.
Ja.
But how did it end up there? There are no known creatures that can encase other beings in crystal, so for now, there is no explanation for how it is trapped there. Why Olimar became a pilot. According to Hey Pikmin, when Olimar was a kid, he wanted to be nocturnal as an excuse to stay up all night. He would apparently sit in bed looking out of his window at the starry night sky, which is why he wanted to be a pilot at first.
Ah.
Captains can carry bomb rocks. In Pikmin 2's 2-player battle mode, there's a map called Hostile Territory which is filled with, as the name suggests, hostiles. One of these hostiles are the bomb rocks, but these are no ordinary bomb rocks, as leaders can actually carry these and chuck them at the other player. This is the only time in any of the games where a leader can hold bomb rocks themselves, so it's pretty cool. Pikmin decors are treasures. Pikmin 2 and Hey Pikmin's main collectibles are the many treasures.
Wenn ich Hey Pikmin sehe, was ist denn das? Was hat sich denn Nintendo dabei gedacht, ein 2D-Pikmin-Teil zu machen? Was?
Scattered about. Some people have said that these treasures may be some of the decors and items the Pikmin wear in Pikmin Bloom. The unassuming lighthouse, priceless statue, and worthless statues are chess pieces. Some of the Pikmin have chess pieces as their primary decor. There are also jack-o'-lantern treasure in both games, with decor Pikmin having a variation of it. These could be neat little references to the previous games. Or they're just coincidences. Who knows? The Pilot Union. The Pilot Union is an old job that Olimar used to work at. Not much is known about it other than the fact that the head of the Pilot Union, who was Olimar's old boss, used to order people around a lot. It also has something to do with piloting, of course.
Stupid Scutterchucks. The Scutterchucks are enemies introduced in Pikmin 3, and their gimmick is to throw crystals onto nearby leaders and / or your Pikmin. And when you happen to stand right next to the Scutterchuck, they usually have a high chance
Ich find's auch schön, dass das Gameplay gerade genau 3 Pixel hat.
of throwing their crystals onto themselves and killing themselves. And this can happen quite often.
Ja.
They are not very clever. Weak Emperor Bulblax. The Emperor Bulblax was Pikmin 1's final boss, and he was the most toughest enemy in the entire game. And then Pikmin 2 released, and so came Emperor Bulblax with it. And he went from the big bad to the big sad. You can now easily take him out with literally only 3 purples, as opposed to the 100 Pikmin you'd usually go with in Pikmin 1. How the mighty has fallen.
Wird ja auch alt, der Arme.
Hocketate and Kapai relations. The relations between Kapai and Hocketate seem to be very bad, as Kapaites stereotype Hocketations as greedy vegetable-eating treasure hunters. That's quite interesting though, their ships do name some treasures the same thing. Nectar and Smoky Prog Egg. The Nectar eggs and the Smoky Prog eggs are very similar, as they are both white and share a ton of spots. Perhaps they are related in some way? But then again, I guess just kind of any egg could have these patterns on them, so maybe not. Spam? Spam are messages in Pikmin 2, mostly containing advertisements for a fake product or service. One of these mentions a job finding site called Hocketate Wiz, and another mentions a music band called PikPik. These spam emails are pretty neat and add a lot to the world building of the Pikmin
Apropos
series.
Spam, gibt's nicht in irgendeinem Pikmin-Teil so eine... Kennt ihr dieses Dosenfleisch oder was das ist? Spam? Ich glaube, das kann man sogar irgendwo finden.
Even on a deserted planet, Olimar can still find hot singles in his area.
Warte, was? I'm so lonely, I want a friend that will listen to my troubles. I want to meet someone like you.
Planet,
Contact.
Olimar can still find hot singles in his area.
Occupations discovered dinosaurs. In Hey Pikmin, Olimar mentions how xenoarchaeologists have discovered dinosaurs from our
Was ist das denn? Was?
planet, but they think that all of them were vicious predators, enemies made by wraiths. People have theorized that some of Pikmin enemies are made by the wraiths. Enemies within the formidable oak turn into golden goop upon death, indicating that they were made by the Plasm Wraith. The final boss of Olimar's comeback there, also golden, indicating that they too are created by the Plasm Wraith.
Boah.
PNF 404's tectonic shifts. In Pikmin 2, many of the areas you explore are from Pikmin 1, with a few big changes in the environment. Why is this? Well, according to Olimar, changes in the planet's environment happen at a very rapid pace, as there are frequent tectonic shifts. This is how the impact site from Pikmin 1, an area on the mainland, became connected to the final trial, which was a part of a large island before. You can still see the silhouette of the island in Pikmin 2's map. This also gives us an explanation as to how PNF 404 changed from having the continents be in their modern locations in Pikmin 2 to how the planet resembles Pangea Ultima in Pikmin 3.
Ah.
This also explains how even though the Pikmin 2 takes place before 2011, which we'll get to later, Pangea Ultima had already occurred by the events of Pikmin 3, which only took place about 1 or 2 years after Pikmin 2. Plasm Wraith and Olimar. The Plasm Wraith seems to have an obsession with Olimar. It seems to care for him as if it was his mother, indicated by the lullaby that plays when you first encounter the Plasm Wraith. When you rescue Olimar, the Plasm Wraith is visibly angry. Why he doesn't want Captain Olimar so bad? Did it also cause the ship to malfunction in Pikmin 1? Maybe Pikmin 4 will give these questions some answers.
Vielleicht aber auch nicht, bist du laut. Leute, halbes Video geschafft, meine Damen und Herren. 50 Minuten, Tier 5 geht los. Wenn die Reaction-Zuschauer noch da sind. Kommentar für den Algorithmus. Kommt auf Twitch vorbei. Wir werden Pikmin 4 im Stream spielen. Na, nur mal so.
Umibozu Theory. This theory was made by me.
Hallo Leute, willkommen zu meinem Livestream. Schön, dass ihr eingeschaltet habt. Heute habe ich gedacht, wir reagieren mal ganz entspannt auf den Eisberg, meine lieben Freunde.
Davagato. This is one of, if not the most popular theories in the Pikmin community. The theory regards real-life Japanese folklore and the in-game behavior of the wraith creatures. Before we explain the in-game situation, let's start off with the real-life folklore. The Umibozu is a yokai found in Japanese mythology.
Yokai!
It appears from the
Yokai,
ocean
what?
and attacks oceanic ships and kills the captains and their crew, sometimes with the intent to claim the treasure on board. The Umibozu also has a round body with long limbs, and sometimes glowing eyes or a large smile. Some accounts of this yokai state it will hunt down a crew and then bombard them with seawater until they're drowned. The Umibozu only being able to be stopped if it's tricked using a barrel without a bottom to try and drown instead. Now let's get on to how this yokai might pertain to the Pikmin franchise. The 2013 version of this theory by Dabogato, that's me, states that it all started in Pikmin 1's first few minutes. My theory is simple. The meteor spawns the Gulix. The Gulix becomes the Water Wraith. The Water Wraith becomes the Plasm Wraith, all with the intent of taking down Olimar. Olimar bonked the meteor, which may have been some sort of living being, or illusory trick, or even a microscopic life form nest. But it all starts in Pikmin 1. Within Pikmin 1, the Gulix is an optional boss that spawns in the impact site, alternating with the Mamuta every other day. Later, in Pikmin 2, the player is introduced to the Water Wraith, a being with a round body and long limbs. Fitting to this theory, and what a lot of fans believe, is that the Water Wraith is an evolution of the Gulix, getting stronger to defeat Olimar.
Das S hört sich so an, als würde sich gleich in meine Ohren reinschneiden, damit meine Ohren anfangen zu bluten.
The Water Wraith's
die Theorie klingt ja an sich erstmal nicht schlecht, ne?
physical form is said to be anchored in another dimension, although Olimar's notes state that it could be his imagination or an ectoplasmic incarnation. Interesting of note is that the Water Wraith and the Gulix both do not leave a corpse. Although some enemies in the Pikmin series do not leave corpses, it is interesting that two of these are both water creatures. Also, while in Pikmin 2's challenge mode's Bully Den area, in multiplayer only, the Wraiths will ignore Louis. They only focus on Olimar. This may be a programming quirk or an oversight, but it's a fun thing to note anyway, in regards to the theory. Now, in Pikmin 3 Deluxe, the final boss of the game is the Plasm Wraith. It's similar to the Water Wraith in name, but it's not shared in scientific families or naming, so it's a separate creature as far as the games are concerned. However, when you first encounter the boss, Olimar is out cold, and his suit keeps putting him into forced sleep mode due to the shock of the whole ordeal. When you get close, the Plasm Wraith consumes Olimar, and you have to set him free by chasing him within
Gnade dir Gott.
the labyrinth. The Plasm Wraith has Olimar inside of its body. It takes a Gulix-like form, and you have to navigate this labyrinth within the formidable oak. A lot of players view this as the most stressful, frantic part of the game, especially for first-time players. You must escort Olimar back to the ship, while looking out for upcoming enemies, hazards, and of course, the ever-present Plasm Wraith.
Ich möchte mal sagen, dass mein Headset, ihr habt das Mikrofon ja schon einmal gehört, hat 24 € gekostet. Jungs, wo ist das Problem? Wo ist das Problem? Die Theorie klingt ja an sich schon mal ganz cool. Na, nur mal so, ne? Nicht die Theorie disrespekten, die Theorie ist ja an sich cool. Ich disrespekte nur sein Mikrofon.
In Pikmin 3 Deluxe, on the Switch, the Piklopedia was added. In the entry for the Plasm Wraith, Olimar states it has a very similar resemblance to the Water Wraith of Pikmin 2, which draws a line maybe the closer that the developers think these creatures are related. Finally, at the end of the game, you get a cutscene where the Plasm Wraith angrily shakes its tendrils, hands, up at the sky after you blast off with Olimar and the Copites. It appears to have been regenerated, renewed, rejuvenated, whatever. It's alive again, and it's angry. The Plasm Wraith appears to be the most powerful of all the water-shape enemies, since it can create blobs of elemental attacks and fly for some reason. The Plasm Wraith is able to make illusory enemies, There also may be a nod to this found within Pikmin 3 Deluxe's challenge mode. There's even a level that takes place at the Formidable Oak that has golden arachnorbs. There are holes in the 2013 Umibozu theory, as the Plasma Wraith makes no attempt to kill Charlie, despite Charlie being a captain himself. Also, why is it so fixated on Olimar and not Louis? Now, fans have offered many branches and interpretations of the base theory I made way back in 2013. One of the most famous takes on my original theory is the theory video made by my friend, Daz Reviews, which has cemented itself as a big part of Pikmin discussion. Lots of variations have cropped up since then, such as, is Louis involved in this whole thing somehow? The Smoky Prog is also present in Pikmin 1. Could it be somehow involved with the Umibozu theory? Maybe the Gulix tampered with a Mamuta egg, according to some fans, causing this monstrosity known as the Prog? Or, some fans theorize, maybe before Olimar even crashed into PNF 404, the Umibozu tampered with Olimar's autopilot, causing it to malfunction and ram itself into the meteor. I find these kind of discussions fascinating, although there's no way to know the right answer, or even if the Umibozu theory itself is real. It's nice to speculate, and it's a fun way to kind of explain or connect the games. I don't know if it's canon, but I think it's very fun to imagine the possibilities. Whether the Umibozu actually influenced the developers of Pikmin to make creatures like it, or it's just a fun coincidence. I'm excited for Pikmin 4 either way. Who knows, I might just revise this theory from 2013 if we get more information. Thanks for having me, everybody. Davagato out.
Indoor-themed Dungeons.
Wir haben wieder vernünftige Audioqualität. Einmal davon Applaus. Ich möchte das bitte mal applaudierend hervorheben. Dass wir wieder ein Mikrofon haben, das sich nicht anhört wie 2002 Toaster-Festnetztelefon. Vielen lieben Dank.
In Pikmin 2, many of the caves seem to actually be human houses that were somehow pushed deep underground. This is most shown in places like Glutton's Kitchen or the shower room, which are made up of wooden floors covered by toys and rooms covered in shower tiles respectively. There are also outdoor-themed dungeons, which seems to be strange fields of grass surrounded by trees out in the distance. There's also a clear light emanating from somewhere in these areas, but it's never seen. It's never explained how this happens, so maybe Pikmin 4 will give us more insight on these strange outdoor sublevels. Louis is controlled by the Water Wraith. In Louis's notes for the Water Wraith in Pikmin 2, it says inedible, known to cause mass hysteria, followed by leg spasms and internal thunderings. Now, we all know there's only one person crazy enough to eat part of the Water Wraith, that being Louis, of course. Is this proof that Louis was being controlled by the Water Wraith? Personally, I don't think so. Instead, I think that this gave Louis the ability to sense the location of other wraiths, which is how he knew that the Formidable Oak was dangerous, and why he refused to return to the area for a second time with Olimar, because he could sense that the gold that Olimar spotted was really a wraith in disguise. Star Bazaar. The Star Bazaar is a retail outlet that has several locations throughout the galaxy, such as one on Kopai. According to Brittany, Kopai's space program shops at the store. Brittany and Alf both shop at the Star Bazaar, however, Brittany seems to have bought a cheap suit, as it can't keep out the cold. Hocotate Freight also bought spacesuits from Star Bazaar as well. The suits that Hocotate Freight bought aren't the best when it comes to insulation either, however, and they aren't even custom fitted according to Olimar. Star Bazaar also sells several customizable extras, such as the Dodge Whistle and Anti-Electrifier. Strangely, it is only called Star Bazaar in the European version of Pikmin 3, as the store is never given an actual name in the North American version of the game.
The Nova Blaster prevents events. The Nova Blaster and the Guard Satellite are two ship parts that could have stopped the meteor. However, since the ship's autopilot malfunctioned, it can be assumed that a similar malfunction occurred with the Guard Satellite. As for why Olimar didn't use the Nova Blaster, well, he was making a cup of tea. Hocotate needs renewable energy. In Pikmin 2, it is mentioned several times that Hocotate needs new, perfectly clean, renewable energy sources. According to Olimar, Hocatations have always searched for a perfectly clean, endlessly renewable energy source, but they haven't found anything close to it until Olimar's second expedition on the planet in Pikmin 2. Olimar and the ship think that two treasures they find
und
amount
wir reagieren gerade auf den PIKMIN Iceberg, weil ja Pikmin 4 bald rauskommt und danach spielen wir die Pikmin 4 Demo.
and the battery could be the renewable energy sources Hokatations have been searching for. The ship comments that Hokatate needs new energy sources, which implies some sort of energy crisis. In Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 1, solar panels are mentioned, however they aren't used, as constructing the solar panels themselves would create some waste, which is what the Hokatations want to avoid. Batteries are also mentioned by Olimar in Pikmin 1, but their batteries are apparently not the same as the ones humans created, as the energy our batteries contain are unknown to Hokatate according to the ship. Anyway, could this search for renewable energy be the plot of Pikmin 4? Global climate shift. According to the player's guide, there was a global climate shift in the atmosphere within the last century that led to the migration of armored cannon beetles. This global climate shift was likely a part of whatever caused humanity's extinction in the Pikmin series. But what caused it? Perhaps some kind of nuclear war?
Engine landing and impact site. In Pikmin 1, Olimar seems to get really lucky and crash right next to his main engine. He's also really lucky that he landed right next to an onion. This carries over to Pikmin 3 with how Alf crashes right next to a red onion as well. You might say that this is strange or that there's something deeper going on, but the actual reason they're both so lucky is because if the main engine and ship weren't there, then there wouldn't be a game to play. Hokatate days are longer. According to Olimar, days pass by quickly on PNF 404, which likely means that Hokatate rotates slower than Earth. Olimar's wife also mentions how 10 o'clock on Hokatate is during the night. Olimar took Pikmin to Hokatate. In Pikmin 2, after reaching the goal of 10,000 Pokos, Olimar goes back to Hokatate in order to repay the debt by using all the treasure they gathered. Now, also in Pikmin 2, purple and white Pikmin are stored in the ship's hull. However, upon returning to PNF 404, the ship's hull still has all of the purple and white Pikmin inside of it. This means that Olimar took the purple and white Pikmin to Hokatate.
Decorated cannon beetle lava death sound.
Bro, woher kommt das jetzt?
When a decorated cannon beetle larva dies, it makes a long death sound that can only be heard when pausing the game after killing it. It's pretty long and strange, so take a listen for yourself.
Aha, okay.
Tree bulb. In the player's guide and primer guide for Pikmin 1, it is mentioned that juvenile bulbs live in treetops until they start to develop spots, to which they drop down and begin the hunt like their parents. This explains why only dwarf bulbs are ever seen in the games, as the real juveniles are living in treetops. The Pikmin community has coined these creatures as tree bulbs, and I think the name fits quite nicely. Pikwin. In the first Pikmin short movie, The Night Juicer, there's an opening movie that has the Pikmin 2 Pikmin running to form the Pikmin logos, but there's a problem. That doesn't say Pikmin. Oh my god! This means nothing to the Pikmin series. Electricity.
Geiler Eisbergpunkt, Bro. Ja, die Form da Pikwin und nicht Pikmin. Es hat absolut nichts mit irgendwas zu tun. Weiter geht's. Geil, super.
No longer fatal. Electricity used to be the most fatal hazard in the Pikmin franchise, zapping the life out of Pikmin instantly. However, in Pikmin 3, all it does is stun your Pikmin until you whistle them. Unlike other hazards like poison and fire, they don't even die if you never whistle them. Many people don't like this change. However, electricity is only used in Pikmin 3 with the bearded Ampras and the Plasm Wraith, both of which quickly eat your Pikmin who are stunned, which wouldn't work if it just insta-killed them. Water Wraith sounds. The Water Wraith makes a lot of grunting noises when you are near it. The Water Wraith sounds strangely human if you ignore all the sounds of water being gargled. Here, listen for yourself.
Er ist sehr energetisch. Er hat Spaß an dem, was er tut. Bro. Sei doch nicht so laut.
Pikmin on Windows. Inside of Pikmin 1's files, a debug version of the game can be found. This version is only playable on Windows PCs, and it is a surreal experience to say the least. Just look at it for yourself. Pikmin Pest Be Gone. Pikmin Pest Be Gone was a skit by
Hört sich
NAD,
an wie mein Magen
a
nach
show
dem Döner, fühle ich.
that used to air on Cartoon Network. In the skit, a gardener needs help dealing with pests, and so Olimar delivers the man, Pikmin, to be used as a way to kill any pests. Then, the Pikmin become a pest, however, and Olimar gives him bulborbs to use to hunt down the Pikmin. However, the gardener thinks there's only one pest that needs to be taken care of, as he kicks Olimar out of his backyard. It's a pretty neat skit, so give it a watch.
Concept art Pikmin. A notebook from the 2014 Nintendo Game Seminar contains concept art of unused Pikmin types.
Wie cool.
Some of these include a goo-like cyan Pikmin, ghost Pikmin, a pea-sized maroon Pikmin, carapace Pikmin, brown Cthulhu-looking Pikmin, black fuzzball Pikmin, and a bulbar Pikmin, which appears to be carrying other Pikmin across the lake. This mechanic might have been what inspired our lovable pup Ochi's ability to carry Pikmin across water. There's also a green Pikmin, which the book describes as parasitic. Could they be parasitic Pikminicus from Pikmin 2? The green Pikmin has become a fan favorite among the Pikmin community. There's also art for a new type of candy pop bud, an onion in what seems to be an early stage of development, Bulbmin, and even an early look at rock and winged Pikmin. In many ways, these Pikmin types are the lost brothers and sisters of the rock and winged Pikmin. It's pretty cool, and I speak for many when I say I hope some of these Pikmin ideas and designs are considered in future games.
Bulborb.com. Bulborb.com was a fan website which contained multiple GIFs of Bulborbs bouncing around the screen. It had multiple tabs which included Meet the Bulborbs, Games, and Other Games. The website had the Donut Plains theme from Super Mario World playing in the background of the main homepage. The site was soon shut down by Nintendo, unfortunately.
Crash landings
Ach so, ich dachte, das ist von Nintendo. Bro.
weren't accidents. In all 4 Pikmin games, an accident occurs, such as the autopilot malfunctioning in Pikmin 1, the co-pilots losing control of the SS Drake in Pikmin 3, or how something went wrong with the warp in Hey Pikmin. In Pikmin 2, nothing is said to go wrong. However, in the opening cutscene, it almost looks as if the ship can't detect the meteor that is right in front of it, causing Olimar to have to steer over the meteor himself. If you get the best ending in Pikmin 3, the narrator hints that the crash landings weren't accidents at all. This is supported by Alf, who claims that he felt as if something from the surface of the planet was manipulating their ship. All these events were likely caused by the Plasm Wraith, as it is the only creature intelligent enough to plan such a thing other than the Water Wraith. However, since the Water Wraith doesn't appear in Pikmin 3, it is more likely that the Plasm Wraith was behind it. However, how did it manipulate the warp in Hey Pikmin? Olimar was nowhere near PNF 404 to our knowledge, so is it able to locate Olimar whenever it wants in order to manipulate his ship? Kronos Reactor deep underground. In Olimar's comeback, Olimar questions how the Kronos Reactor got so deep underground. Did the Plasm Wraith recover the ship part and then store it inside the cave? And if so, why? Onion doesn't follow Olimar. Another peculiarity in Olimar's comeback is how the Onion doesn't follow Olimar and his crew into the formidable oak. Now, onions do need light to live, but there is plenty of light present in the area that Olimar and Louis found the ship part. Could the Onion have known that the formidable oak was too dangerous to land in?
Olimar sees the souls. Olimar mentions in Hey Pikmin that souls come out of creatures' bodies when they die. This means souls aren't a gameplay element, but are actually canon to the story. What does this mean for the greater Pikmin lore? Pretty much nothing, unless we go deep and explain how their stems are what hold their souls. Bulbmin can't
Einfach geköpft, die Sau. Heilige Scheiße.
escape. Bulbmin cannot escape caves, likely due to them being so overpowered as they can survive fire, water, poison, and electricity. There is no reason given why they don't leave caves in the games, however, which has caused many people to theorize why they are unable to join your crew when leaving a cave. Some people say it is because they cannot jump, but this is clearly not true as they jump whenever the entering another sublevel cutscene plays. They also jump when battling small enemies. The most likely reason why they can't leave is because they live in caves exclusively and there is no reason to ever leave the caves as they need to continue to propagate their species. Unknown enemies. In the Pikmin games there are many enemies mentioned but never actually seen. The most famous one is the Burrowing Snarrow, which is a relative of the Burrowing Snagret. Unlike the Burrowing Snagret, its feathers do not have a bluish hue. They can also be distinguished by the presence or absence of tail and wing markings. The only other creature that is never seen in the games is a strong-armed cannon beetle. It is a continental breed of the armored cannon beetle and had the ability to compress inhaled air in a bladder and use the pressure to expel partially digested fragments of stone. The armored cannon beetle itself is a continental breed as well, and it also has this ability. However, the strong-armed cannon beetle is different as it has a weaker carapace than the armored cannon beetle.
Sky treasures. In Pikmin 2, if a treasure ever falls into the abyss of a cave, it'll just come back by falling from the sky. This is actually a good way to defeat stronger enemies that contain treasures. Like bull bears, for example, it will die, but the treasure will just respawn. As for how it's explained, it never really is. Olimar or the ship never bring it up, since it's more so of a gameplay mechanic than any sort of canon thing that happens. Mystery onions. There are mysterious onions that are only ever seen in the happy ending of Pikmin 1. These onions are colored pink, black, cyan, orange, blue, green, and purple. Purple Pikmin obviously appear in Pikmin 2, and while Olimar never found the purple onion in that game, it does seem to exist, as the color shows up in the Master Onion in Hey Pikmin. The pink onion could be for winged Pikmin, and likewise the black onion could be for rock Pikmin, although the design differs between this ending and how they appear in Pikmin 3, which could be a sign that they're either more or less matured in Pikmin 3, but who knows. As for the rest of the onions, there aren't any Pikmin that are confirmed to fill their roles. Bulbmin, and by extension Parasite Pikmin, could either be orange and green as they're hinted at being that in the game, and the all-new Ice Pikmin in Pikmin 4 could be cyan, but again, there's no way to truly know. Pikmin anime video. This is an old animation showing Olimar thinking about his family.
Es gibt noch eine andere Pikmin-Animation, die von Let's Play Markus, die ist ganz gut.
As a Pikmin brings him.
Holy! Are they okay?
Warum ist die Musik? Dark Waters, Leute, wir sind angekommen. In den Dark Waters.
Water Wraith Dimension is Challenge Mode Dimension. In Pikmin 2, the ship mentions the Water Wraith's physical form is anchored in another dimension. There is also another mention of a dimension in Pikmin 2, as after collecting a treasure known as a key, they manage to cause a massive dimensional shift at a distant location. It is meant to be a joke about how you unlock Challenge Mode, but what if there is more to it? Could these dimensions be one and the same? Well, unfortunately no, it's not. In Bullingdon, the Wraith's physical forms are still anchored in another dimension, meaning that the Challenge Mode dimension and the Water Wraith dimension aren't the same. However, maybe the key and the Water Wraith are related in other ways. President's Parallel Dimension Controller. In Pikmin 2, the ship combined the key with the President's Parallel Dimension Controller, causing a dimensional shift at a distant location as mentioned before. Why does the President have this? It is never explained or brought up ever again. From what we understand, it can cause dimensional shifts when combined with objects like the key, which seems to be an object that appears across multiple dimensions. Maybe a future Pikmin game could elaborate further on this parallel dimension controller.
Disappearing enemies. Some enemies in the Pikmin games leave no corpse or soul behind. People think this indicates that they are related to the Water Wraith or Plasma Wraith. However, this is likely not the case, as enemies like the Borean Snagrids and Emperor Bulblacks leave no souls or bodies behind in Pikmin 1. For enemies like the Juvenile Phosbats and all of the Arachnorbs, it is explained why they leave no corpse behind in the Plickopedia. These creatures aren't mysterious in the slightest, so the lack of souls and corpses likely don't indicate any kind of relationship with the Wraiths. Hey Pikmin enemies never leave corpses behind either, so it seems as if the lack of a soul or corpse being left behind after a creature is killed is arbitrary. Olimar's wife's spending habits. In Pikmin 2, Olimar's wife uses Olimar's bonuses on luxurious trips, while Olimar is on the planet collecting treasure. She makes her kids go to school every night till 10, and throws out everything that they enjoy. Olimar's son feels like every time his mother gets more money, she gets meaner. Fortunately, she blows all her money on lottery tickets and returns to her normal, kinder self. Parallel dungeons.
So ein Stück Scheiße.
Pikmin 2 has sublevels that look exactly identical to each other. The only difference could be the enemies on the map. Subterranean Complex Sublevel 5 and Dream Den Sublevel 4 are these rusty ramp type of sublevel, with it being the same layout, just different treasures and enemies. Why are these sublevels identical? Well, we have no idea, though it could be just the similar human architecture in different areas.
Purple Pikmin stuns Water Wraith. If you find that the purple Pikmin were broken, well, they are so broken that they can bring creatures' physical forms to other dimensions. It is really odd how purple Pikmin are the only thing able to bring out the Water Wraith's physical form. What causes it to do so? The Nintendo's Player's Guide for Pikmin 2 describes the Water Wraith as anxious. This probably means that the loud thud that purple Pikmin creates scares the Water Wraith enough to accidentally expose its physical form. it curls up whenever it hears this thud, so I think this is the most likely answer. Who made the Man at Legs? The Man at Legs is a terrifying boss from Pikmin 2. It wields a launcher that fires energy burst and has one of the coolest boss fights in the game. But how was it created? Well, in Pikmin 2, Olimar explains that the machinery is not controlled by the arachnorb it is fused with. Instead, the mechanical proportions of the creature appear to automatically acquire and attack targets itself. According to Olimar's notes, one theory holds that the machinery that approached the arachnorb proposed a symbiotic relationship. I think this mechanical proportion of the Man at Legs was created by humans to fight off some unknown threat. This would explain why they always reappear in the subterranean complex whenever you enter it again, as they were mass-produced. After humanity died out, the machines grew sentience and fused to the Man at Legs to be able to move around easier. Plasm Wraith's Lullaby. When first encountering the Plasm Wraith, a lullaby plays. This indicates that the Plasm Wraith has more of a parent relationship to Olimar rather than a romantic partner like Brittany
Mutter
assumes.
confirmed.
But why would the Plasm Wraith need to take care of Olimar? Why is it so obsessed?
Gatling Groinks and Bull Bears unconscious. Pikmin 2 had a mechanic where Bull Bears and Gatling Groinks only fall unconscious rather than dying like the rest of the enemies. This brings up the question of whether or not they were brought back to Hocotate alive after being collected by Olimar and crew. However, they likely all died since there is no oxygen on Hocotate. Damaging rollers hurts the water wraith. Everything you can attack and kill have health bars. Bulborbs, Snagrets, Blowhogs all have health bars. Eggs do not since they're non-living, but yet we can attack them. But why does the water wraith's rollers have a health bar? Some people say that the rollers are a part of the water wraith. However, it is likely it's just a way to make it easier for the player to figure out when the rollers will break. Pikmin stem cells. In one of the Pikmin short movies, Occupational Hazards, a Bulborb is chasing after Pikmin and soon eats one of them. After chewing for a bit, it spits out the remains of the Pikmin, which is kind of gruesome. The stem is the only thing about the Pikmin still intact, and it releases a soul.
Blah.
This could mean that the souls are stored in their leaves or stems. Then again, the Pikmin short movies aren't entirely canon, so it's up for debate.
Louis Pill. Louis Pill is an unused Pikmin 3 model. It consists of...
Digga, was ist denn das? Was ist denn das, bro?
Louis encased in a pill-shaped capsule. A window surrounds Louis, while a blue material makes up the rest of the shape, and 3 yellow dots are spotted in the front. It's unknown what this was going to be used for, but some people speculate that this may have been the original way of adding Louis to your team in mission mode stages. Water Wraith's rollers can kill anything. No matter what you are vulnerable to the almighty power that are the Water Wraith's rollers. These rollers can kill anything in their path. You can see it kill other enemies, and even elemental hazards like fire geysers. There are some Pikmin 2 mods out there that show situations you wouldn't see in Pikmin 2 itself, where the Water Wraith is able to kill other in-game bosses, even the Titan Dweevil itself, with its mighty rollers.
Leute! Der letzte Bereich! Abyss!
Wraiths caused human extinction. Some speculate that the reason why humanity is extinct is due to the wraiths. Perhaps the wraiths caused the global climate shift, as well as the rapid tectonic shifts on Earth. A few humans could have created the Momitas to keep plant life alive, as Momitas cultivate fields of plants according to Olimar. Humanity may also have created the Pikmin to stop them, but it seems that they ran out of time at that point. Humanity's fate was settled. Even humanity's colonies on distant planets were destroyed. This is supported by Olimar's notes on the Plasm Wraith, which implies that it caused regular animals to evolve into strange creatures that inhabit Earth now. Pikmin manga. In an issue of Nintendo Dream, pretty much Nintendo Power in Japan, there was a manga that showed the events before Pikmin 1, where a group of Pikmin were picked off one by one. At the end, Olimar wakes up and approaches a red onion like in the original game. However, it is revealed that this is actually just a movie produced by Bowser Jr., rather than being real events that actually unfold in the Pikmin universe. Subterranean complex is a bunker. Olimar wonders if the subterranean complex, a cave in Pikmin 2, was once a great military fortress. This could be the case, as perhaps it was a bunker that was meant to protect humanity from whatever caused their extinction. The world ended before March 2010. Looking at the expiration on the durable energy cell, it says March 2010. Since the battery is still full of energy, this must mean that the world ended before March 2010. This is also supported by the fact that there is no technology from beyond the 2000s Pikmin 1, 2, 3, or Hey Pikmin, other than the amiibo of course. However, those are likely not canon since the existence of Olimar and the Pikmin amiibo and Hey Pikmin doesn't make sense at all. This also means that Pikmin 1 and 2 take place sometime before March 2010, since the battery isn't expired yet. I hope Pikmin 4 keeps this up, and doesn't have anything from the 2010s and 2020s. eShop Photo Pikmin. In Japan, 3 Pikmin e-reader cards were bundled with eShop gift cards. These e-cards would unlock a game called Ishoni Photo Pikmin, translating to Photos Together with Pikmin, where you can play with AR Pikmin. You can blow a whistle, spawn a bulb warp, and more. It's super cool. Too bad it was never brought to North America or Europe, though an electronic manual in English seems to have been made, so perhaps the localization to America was cancelled right before it was supposed to be released. Who knows? Pikmin Safari. Pikmin Safari was a short-lived mockumentary series following Winston Chumling and Alf, who played a role of a cameraman. It aired on the Nintendo 3DS video channel. However, all are available on YouTube to watch officially on Nintendo's Play Nintendo channel. They're pretty funny and cute, so I checked them out. Unfortunately, since Winston speaks English, mentions Nintendo, and talks about England in the series, it is not canon. Also, it reminds me of the US commercial for Pikmin 1, which was also a mockumentary. Though, this one isn't canon either since the guy speaks English as well. I checked the commercial out as well after you're done watching this video. Pikmin 1's true meaning. Pikmin 1's true meaning is at the rising of the food chain. At the beginning of Pikmin 1, the Pikmin seem to be all but extinct. Only a few onions still active as the rest are all deactivated. However, with the help of Olimar, they are able to rise up the food chain. That's why the Emperor Bullbox is the final boss, because it's on top of the food chain. The Pikmin are able to defeat the Emperor Bullbox with Olimar's guidance, signifying that the Pikmin are on the top now. This is supported with how they all start attacking the Bulbur at the end of the happy ending, because they can now fend for themselves. Pikmin Treasure Hunt. Pikmin Treasure Hunt is a lost Pikmin game where players use clues on Pikmin 2's website and official Nintendo Insider forums to collect treasure across various websites, just like how Pikmin Space Force worked. Prizes were given out for those that won, such as Pikmin plushies and Pikmin wallpapers. This one is even more lost and mysterious than Space Force. The developers are not known other than NOA Matt. Apparently, you use clues on Pikmin 2's website and the Insider forums to find websites that hold the priceless treasures that you need to bring to Hockatate Freight with the help of your Pikmin. Given the information we have, it seems like the Pikmin 2 website likely had a part where you receive communiques from your ship's computer, giving you a clue as to which website has treasure. Apparently, you would have an army of virtual Pikmin that would use to carry the treasure. Not exactly how though. Also, a Nintendo Power magazine mentioned virtual spy cams being on Pikmin 2's website, though I'm not sure what it means since the web itself wasn't archived well. Now, here's the best part. The president ran a personal blog! That's right, out of all characters in the Pikmin universe, only the president has a kind of social media.
Bro. Was war das? Geh bitte nicht so nah an dein 20 € Aldi-Mikrofon dran. Danke.
In order to give clues to the players and to promote the upcoming release of Pikmin 2, the president ran an in-universe blog detailing the events that led up to Pikmin 2. This holds new information never seen before. Some information revealed that Olimar was able to communicate with the president when he was trapped on the planet, where he let him know that he was stuck on the planet and how he discovered creatures called Pikmin. However, this doesn't last long as Olimar lost communication with Hockatate and wasn't able to contact the president or his poor family anymore. The president then considered sending Louis to go help Olimar. However, at this point, Louis is on his first mission delivering his cargo of golden Pikmin carrots. We also learned that the president's wife is spending all the president's money during her vacation. From the same blog, we learned that Louis responded to a message from the president where he tries to lie and say that the Space Bunnies ate his cargo of golden Pikmin carrots. The communique ends abruptly for some reason, and the mention of Space Bunny worries the president that the cargo of golden Pikmin carrots was lost. Other than that, there is no other new information, unless I'm forgetting something. Oh wait, no. Louis has a wife?
Okay, warte. Verdammte Scheiße! Meine Fresse! Geh doch nicht so nah an dein verdammtes 20 € Aldi-Mikrofon ran, wirklich. Das Video ist ja an sich gut, ne? Ich finde die Theorien ganz cool. Hier und da, ehrlich gesagt, ein, zwei Momente, wo ich mir denke, Bro, das ist jetzt komplett unnötig, das zu erwähnen, so, ne? Die Theorien an sich ganz cool. Bro, hör auf, in dein 20 € Aldi-Mikrofon zu schreien. Junge.
Bulber's eyes turn red. In Pikmin 1, when spotty Bulbers and Dwarf Bulber spot you, their eyes suddenly turn from their normal blue color to red. This is probably meant to strike fear into the player's heart, as well as show how dangerous the Bulbers are. Anyway, it's a cool little detail that I don't see many people talk about. Landing markings. In every mainline Pikmin game, the onions usually land on a specialized marking in each area. These markings are strange and abstract and remind me of the armbands on the Mamuta or the markings on the onions. I wonder what made them. Maybe the Pikmin. In Pikmin 3, the SS Drake has its own markings, which is even more confusing. Pikmin view Olimar as their savior. Art created by the Pikmin in Pikmin 3 Deluxe show Olimar as a savior of the Pikmin. It shows him as a large figure surrounded by Pikmin, holding what seems to be the sun texture that appears on the HUD throughout the series. The Pikmin must view Olimar as a god or a savior, likely because he trained them to fend for themselves and save the red, yellow, and blue Pikmin from extinction. As the onions in the happy ending confirm that Pikmin weren't completely extinct on PNF 404. Raging Longlegs drops Metites. If you fight the Raging Longlegs again after retrieving its treasure, the Metites will fall out when it dies. Since Metites are parasites that are eaten by the female host, this means the Raging Longlegs is a female. Purples destroy boulders. In Pikmin 2, purple Pikmin have the ability to destroy the boulders of both cannon beetle larvae if they get thrown nearby the rolling rocks. Their sheer thickness makes them destroy these rocks with ease, and in Pikmin 1, Olimar is able to destroy these boulders with a single punch. Key door in Pikmin 1 files. In the files of Pikmin 1, an unused key door is present that this seems to be very out of place in the Pikmin universe. A key was also in the game but was also cut. People assume that this key was used to open this locked door, but other people also think that this key was originally the way to unlock
Okay, das Key, die Door habe ich zwar noch nicht gesehen, aber
Challenge Mode in Pikmin 1, similar to how you unlock Challenge Mode in Pikmin 2 with the key treasure. We'll probably never know what it was really meant for though. Kopai Resort on PNF 404. In Pikmin 3, Charlie mentions that he might open a Kopai Resort on PNF 404 for tourists. Brittany even suggests that Captain Charlie should be left behind to further observe the Pikmin. Brittany and Alf also talk about making a home on PNF 404 themselves. This could possibly be a plotline for the next Pikmin game. Other side of PNF 404. On day 90 of Pikmin 3, Charlie discusses his curiosity of what could possibly be on the other side of PNF 404. Brittany even says that they cleaned out all the edible matter of the accessible areas. What does she mean, accessible areas? Maybe we will learn what's on the other side of the planet in a future Pikmin game. Unreleased Pikmin short movies. In an ING review, Miyamoto says that he completed 20 to 30 short films, but only released 3 for public viewing. Hopefully they'll release them sometime soon. Plasm Wraith's manifested psychic wound. In Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Olimar questions what the hole in the Plasm Wraith's torso is. He questions if it's a manifested psychic wound, and thinks that the search for this may lead them down to a path of unraveling the history of the evolution on this planet. Every cave is personalized. In Pikmin 2, almost every sublevel is randomly generated. Some people say that each level is made based on the player's gameplay.
Wir machen einen Eisberg. Lass doch richtig witzig ans Ende genau die Scheiße packen, die man bei Mario 64 immer sagt, dass Mario 64 personalized ist. Und es wird genau der gleiche unfundierte, dumme Bullshit sein wie bei Mario 64 und jeder wird's glauben. Aber eigentlich ist es richtig dämlich, ja.
And not only Pikmin 2, but any other save data the GameCube, Wii, or Wii U can access. However, the Dream Den is special as it can access the player's dreams. How does the player know that they're getting a custom-made experience just from their dreams? They don't. I made it up. This is a leftover from the old Iceberg, which was one of the every Mario 64 copy is personalized.
Spricht selber an. Danke, 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 danke.
Trend was going on. Anyway, there's only one entry left to talk about, and that is... Well, you know how Pikmin 4 hasn't been announced yet. Well, I guess I wasn't expecting that. Wait, don't leave me here!
Als ob jetzt 3 Minuten Outro kommen. klar. Ja, nee, waren Pikmin, genau. Waren, ich kann es jetzt nicht liken, weil ich nicht angemeldet bin, war ein cooles Video an sich. Hier und da, wie gesagt, 1, 2 Punkte, wo ich mir denke, ja, Bro, hättest du auch gleich sein lassen können, das Ganze zu erwähnen, ne? Zum Beispiel, irgendeinen Punkt gab es, wo er dann gesagt hat, es hat nichts mit der Mainline-Game zu tun, ich habe auch keine Ahnung, was es damit zu tun hat, aber ich hab's einfach mal gesagt. So, aber sonst ziemlich cooles Video, aber bitte, kauft euch ein vernünftiges Mikrofon. Ich bitte euch. Gnade Gott. 25 € für ein Headset ist nicht so viel Geld. Damit ihr euch nicht anhört wie Vodafone-Mitarbeiter. Okay? Alles klar.